never really been the type of person who takes a lot of risks. And I think this kind of reflects the way that I've played tennis throughout my life. Passive and defensive. But recently, I've been trying to get out of that habit. I've been going for a lot more shots in practice, trying to play points on my own terms a little bit more, and it's been working. As time went on, I got to a point in my tennis where I felt like I was ready to go out and compete and play some futures again. But every time I went to enter a tournament, I started getting self-doubt. So yeah, I decided to come up with a little motto for myself, and I guess it's a way to try and instill some of that mindset that I'm developing in my tennis off the court as well, because if I just keep waiting, I'm never going to be ready. It's time to go to my first ITF Futures event.
I wanna run away with you, I don't really care where to, just wanna be alone with you. I wanna run away with you, tell me that you want it too, just wanna be alone with you.
Alright, so it is the morning of the sign-in deadline, and I just want to have a little bit of a talk about how tough it is for me to get into tournaments right now, because I don't have a transition tour ranking. Every single tournament that I've entered in the last 2 or 3 months, I've been nowhere near getting into. I think there was only one that I could have feasibly got into. I was about 20th alternate by the freeze deadline, and at that stage, I wasn't really ready to play tournaments. I was still working on a few things. I've been working a lot on my serve and on my backhand, as I've spoken about in previous videos. And I kind of think that I'm now at a point where I'm ready to play tournaments, but now I'm ready, I'm still not getting into them. So it's not the end of the world right now, because as I set out in my plan, the goal was to get my Notion template done so I could track my progress, start playing with some ATP ranked players, which I have been doing, and get used to that level. And although I haven't had any wins against those ATP ranked players yet, I do feel like I'm competing with them. And I feel like I've improved my serve enough now where I'm at a level to feel comfortable in my service games. And if I'm serving well, then I can compete at that level. But it's just, as I said, the toughest part is getting into these tournaments. So with regard to this futures that I'm signing into today, I actually don't think I'm going to get in. But because last week I looked at the entry list for the Nottingham one, there were people around my place on the alternate list that did get wildcards and did get in. So I'm thinking, like, as this is the last futures in the UK for a little while, why not try and sign in? Because even though the chances are slim, it's only a 2-hour drive away, £90 at a hotel, so it's probably going to be the cheapest one that I can do. But moving forward after this one, honestly, I don't have the budget just to go traveling around the world, entering tournaments and hoping that I play. Because if I don't get in, that might be like half my budget down the drain on tournaments that I don't even get into. So yeah, it's really a game of probability. Like, am I going to get into this tournament? Is it worth going there? If not, is it better just to do some pre-qualifying in Turkey or something where I can guaranteed matches? But then the downside of that is that those tournaments don't get those matches don't get recorded on the UTR or anything. So it literally is just expensive match practice, which I could be getting in the UK anyway. Yeah, that's where I'm at with tournaments at the moment, but let's just focus on today for now. It's about 10 AM now. The sign-in deadline's at 6 PM. I'm just going to string this racket, pack my bag, and then go in, try and get a hit when I'm down there, and then hope for the best.
We don't belong here. I want more out of life. The longer we stay here, our boots get stuck in the mud. Let's pack up a life, baby, and call it a night. 'Cause the longer we stay here, the harder the fight.
Alright, so I've just signed in and it did look like there was quite a lot of names above me, so I'm not really holding out too much hope to get in, but it's worth a try. I can sign in as an alternate and she just said to arrive before 9:30 AM tomorrow morning, so I'll do that in the morning and then see what happens, and hopefully someone doesn't turn up tomorrow. But still can wait and see till the list comes out. It's almost 6 o'clock, so we'll see what happens. And just in the meantime, I'm going to do a little bit of serving practice. All the courts are pretty empty now, so I'm just going to get out there, warm up a few serves, work on the new technique that I've been doing, and then yeah, looks like it's going to start raining a bit heavier now, so I'm going to get cracking, do a bit of a warm up and hit some serves. So yeah, let's get into it.
This free life I've been hearing about, you will see us howling like wolves in the night, 'cause nothing is stronger than wanting what you might get. I said hey, call it a start by leaving behind what's breaking our hearts. I said hey, follow the spark, ain't nothing but a one way.
I always feel like the worst part about being an alternate is waiting for that draw to come out. Even though it's quite unlikely that I'll get in, I still get my hopes up. And I often find myself refreshing the page quite often as soon as that deadline closes. So I try to give it at least 30 minutes until I check the draw. So, at 6:30 PM, I checked my phone. And the draw still wasn't out. But after checking back a little bit later, it was there. And after scrolling through all the names and seeing who got wildcards and who got in, my name was nowhere to be seen. So the only thing to do was to get some food, head to the hotel, and hope that some people don't show up for their match in the morning. Alright, so there's kind of three major observations that I had from this match, and the first one is that the focus was just unbelievable, and you'd expect that to be the case because they're in the final of a Futures event. They've played high levels, challenges, ATP events before, so you'd expect the focus to be amazing. But this event was literally within a dome court, so within a bubble. People were walking back behind the court to go watch and go back and forth, and it was really loud in there. So to keep focus that level for that amount of time on such a big event was just really good to watch. And I think if I was in that position, I definitely lost my concentration quite a few times. I got distracted by the things happening around me. But to see both of them completely in the zone, doing their routines and just playing such a high level of tennis despite what was going on around them was really good to watch. Okay, so the second thing was really obvious when watching some of the qualifying matches and then going and watching this final from the previous week. And it was that any single ball that they had to take the opportunity to attack, they took it straight away. Whereas in some of the qualifying matches and some of my own matches that I play, there might be like 1, 2 or 3 balls that could have attacked that end up just rallying on or hitting another building type of shot. Whereas for them, any ball that they could get the opportunity to get on top of the rally, they really stepped in the court, and it ended up being like a forced error or a winner or coming to the net or something like that. And just capitalizing on any single opportunity that they get given to really just go and attack and not hold back was really, really key. And then kind of like an extension onto that previous point is that whenever they did control the point and they did attack, whenever they made their way to the net, whenever they approached the forehand side, more often than not, they lost the point because the opponent would hit a good passing shot or do like a 2-ball pass. But whenever they went to the backhand, they tended to win the point. So I guess we can take 2 things from that. The first one being that it's important to become really strong at your passing shots, especially with that forehand angle cross, because that was used a lot of times. But if you are practicing approaching and coming to the net, just have that knowledge that if you approach to the backhand side, you're probably more likely to win that point. And I think that's something that Craig O'Shaughnessy has written about before, about the importance of approaching to the backhand side and that you have a much higher success rate if you go to that section. Okay, and then the final observation that I made was with regards to the defensive shots. Any single time they were under a small amount of pressure or a big amount of pressure, and basically any time they weren't in a neutral situation, the ball went cross court. there was hardly any times where it was like a counter punch line or they're going for a big shot or a slap or anything. It was always shape cross court until they had an opportunity to be in a little bit more of a neutral phase, maybe between like 45 and 55 up or down in a rally. Then they would go for like a bit of a bigger shot or change of direction. But anytime that was under a little bit of pressure, would just go back straight back cross court, because it's high percentage play, got them back in the rally, and then they're able to try and dictate from there. And I do it way too much in my matches where I just slap down the line or go for like a big shot down the line when I'm under pressure, and then my court position's compromised. But because they were taking the ball early and that they were looking for those opportunities to really attack whenever they had that ball, if that line shot's not good enough, they're just going to be killed in the cross court, and they can't afford to have a weak ball down the line. It's much better to go height and shape cross court to get themselves into the rally, and then they're able to get themselves back in a place where they might be able to dictate and try and capitalise on the short ball that comes to them.
Jeff is just round the block.
So yeah, for some this trip may have seemed like a waste of time, but I think there's always something you can get out of any experience you find yourself in. And for me, just being within that tournament environment again was enough to put me in that headspace I needed to go out and compete.
I see you, I forget about it.